Edward C. Ciaccio versus spouses Adolfo T. de Guia and Faye Almavel. De Guia et al. GR, number 2590951, February 26, 2025. Facts. The properties subject of this case are 1. A parcel of land consisting of 2,549 square meters, previously covered by a transfer certificate of title number T68 in the name of Andrea de Guia. And 2. A parcel of land consisting of 174 square meters, previously covered by TCT number T1815 under the name of Rustico de Guia, both of which are located in Tacloban City. Adolfo T. de Guia inherited the subject properties from spouses Enrique and Andrea de Guia. In 1994, Adolfo convinced Bayani Correa to invest in the two subject properties, as it was facing foreclosure on the mortgages thereon. Correa agreed to redeem the subject properties from its existing encumbrances. Thus, deeds of absolute sale were executed by Adolfo in favor of Cirilla. TCT number T68 and TCT number T1815 were canceled, and TCT number T40257 and TCT number T39792 were issued, therefore, respectively, both in Cirilla's name. Thereafter, Cirilla executed another deed of absolute sale selling the subject properties back to Adolfo. This subsequent deed of absolute sale was not notarized. Consequently, Adolfo made an adverse claim on TCT numbers T39792 and T40257 on the basis of the said deed of absolute sale. Adolfo and Cirilla came to an agreement through a memorandum of agreement that the subject properties would be sold to Cirilla for the amount of 15 million pesos on the condition that Adolfo will bear the costs for the sale, including the ejectment of the illegal settlers residing thereon. As partial payment for the sale of the subject properties, Adolfo acknowledged receipt of 1,675,660 pesos from Cirilla. It was agreed that Cirilla will pay the remaining balance of 13,324,340 pesos in 2 years, beginning after the ejectment of the illegal settlers on the subject properties. Adolfo failed to eject the illegal settlers on the properties, as originally agreed upon. Thus, Cirilla brought it upon himself to cause the ejectment of the illegal settlers. However, Cirilla did not succeed in ejecting the illegal settlers. As a result, Cirilla incurred significant costs for the supposed ejectment, and this caused him to obtain a 700,000 pesos loan from Far East Bank and Trust Company. The property covered by TCT number T39792 was used to secure the loan with FEBTC. Cirilla also sought financial assistance from Ciaccio. Thus, Ciaccio agreed to extend a loan to Cirilla, which was secured by the two subject properties. Hence, a deed of real estate mortgage was issued in favor of Ciaccio. Considering that the property covered by TCT number T39792 was encumbered with FEBTC, and there were adverse claims on both titles by Adolfo, Ciaccio conditioned the grant of the loan to Cirilla on the removal of the encumbrances on the properties covered by TCT numbers T39792 and T40257. Ciaccio sought the assurance of Adolfo that the two titles were clean. Thus, Adolfo appeared before Ciaccio to assure him that the adverse claims on the titles had been settled through an affidavit, dated December 4th, 1995. Cirilla's loan with FEBTC was also settled, and the encumbrance on TCT number T39792 was canceled. Thus, Ciaccio extended a loan in the amount of 500,000 pesos in favor of Cirilla, which was secured by TCT number T40257, and the amount of 800,000 pesos which was secured by TCT issue. Whether or not there is a valid sale of the two parcels of lands to Ciaccio, held, the Supreme Court nullified the sale of two parcels of lands after finding that the buyer therein knew that the seller was not the rightful owner. The Supreme Court affirmed lower court findings that Cirilla merely held the properties temporarily to prevent foreclosure and had no real ownership. Further, Ciaccio cannot be considered as an innocent purchaser for value. Generally, to be considered an innocent purchaser for value, the buyer does not have any notice of defect or irregularity as to the right of interest of the seller, and the buyer is without notice that a third party has a claim to the subject property. Thus, if there is anything on the certificate of title that leads to suspicion or raises any cloud on the title, right, or ownership of the subject property, the buyer cannot be deemed as an innocent purchaser for value.